Male reproductive system. The purpose of the organs of the male reproductive system is to perform the following actions: to produce, maintain, and transport sperm, the male reproductive cells, and the protective fluid, semen; to exchange sperm within the female reproductive tract during sex; and to produce and secrete male sex hormones responsible for maintaining the male reproductive system. The external organs of the male reproductive system are: penis. This is the male organ used in sexual intercourse. It has three parts: the root, which attaches to the wall of the abdomen, the body or the shaft, and the glans, which is the cone-shaped part at the end of the penis. The glans, also called the head of the penis, is covered with a loose layer of skin called foreskin. This skin is sometimes removed in a procedure called circumcision. The opening of the urethra, the tube that transports semen and urine, is at the tip of the penis. The glans of the penis also contains a number of sensitive nerve endings. The body of the penis is cylindrical and consists of three circular-shaped chambers. These chambers are made of a special sponge-like tissue. This tissue contains thousands of large spaces that fill with blood when the man is sexually aroused. As the penis fills with blood, it becomes rigid and erect, which allows for penetration during sexual intercourse. The skin of the penis is loose and elastic to accommodate changes in penis size during an erection. Semen, which contains sperm, reproductive cells, and is expelled, ejaculate, through the end of the penis when the man reaches sexual climax, the orgasm. When the penis is erect, the flow of the urine is blocked from the urethra, allowing only semen to be ejaculated at orgasm. Scrotum. This is a loose sponge-like sac of skin that hangs behind and below the penis. It contains the testicles, also called testes, as well as many nerves and blood vessels. The scrotum acts as a climate control system for the testes. For normal sperm development, the testes must be at a temperature slightly cooler than body temperature. Special muscles in the wall of the scrotum allow it to contract and relax, moving the testicles closer to the body for a warmth or farther away from the body to cool the temperature. Testicle, testes. These are oval organs about the size of large olives that lie in the scrotum, secured at either end by a structure called the spermatic cord. Most men have two testes. The testes are responsible for making testosterone, the primary male sex hormone, and for generating sperm. Within the testes are coiled masses of tubes called seminiferous tubules. These tubes are responsible for producing sperm cells. The internal organs of the male reproductive system, also called accessory organs, include the following. Epididymis. The epididymis is a long coiled tube that rests on the backside of each testicle. It transports and stores sperm cells that are produced in the testes. It also is the job of the epididymis to bring the sperm to maturity, since the sperm that emerge from the testes are immature and incapable of fertilization. During sexual arousal, contractions force the sperm into the vas deferens. Vas deferens. The vas deferens is a long muscular tube that travels from the epididymis into the pelvic cavity, to just behind the bladder. The vas deferens transports mature sperm to the urethra, the tube that carries urine or sperm to outside the body, in preparation for ejaculation. Ejaculatory ducts. These are formed by the fusion of the vas deferens and the seminal vesicles. The ejaculatory ducts empty into the urethra. Urethra. The urethra is the tube that carries urine from the bladder to the outside of the body. In males, it has the additional function of ejaculating semen when the male reaches orgasm. When the penis is erect during sex, the flow of urine is blocked from the urethra, allowing only semen to be ejaculated at orgasm. Seminal vesicles. Attached to the vas deferens near the base of the bladder, the seminal vesicles produce a sugar-rich fluid, fructose, that provides sperm with a source of energy to help them move. The fluid of the seminal vesicles makes up most of the volume of mass ejaculatory fluid or ejaculate. Prostate gland. The prostate gland is a wall-sized structure that is located below the urinary bladder in front of the rectum. The prostate gland contributes additional fluid to the ejaculate. Prostate fluids also help to nourish the sperm. The urethra, which carries the ejaculate to be expelled during orgasm, runs through the center of the prostate gland. Bubrethal glands, also called Cooper's gland. These are pea-sized structures located on the sides of the urethra just below the prostate gland. These glands produce a clear, silvery fluid that empties directly to the urethra. This fluid serves to lubricate the urethra and to neutralize any acidity that may be present due to the residual drops of urine into the urethra. How does the male reproductive system function? The entire male reproductive system is dependent on hormones, which are chemicals that regulate the activity of many different types of cells or organs. The primary hormones involved in the male reproductive system are follicle-stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, and testosterone. Follicle-stimulating hormone is necessary for sperm production, spermatogenesis, and luteinizing hormone stimulates the production of testosterone, which is also needed to make sperm. Testosterone is responsible for the development of male characteristics, including muscle mass and strength, fat distribution, bone mass, facial hair, growth, voice change, and sex drive. The path that the sperm follows from the testes to the urethra. The testes are where sperm are manufactured in the scrotum. The epidermis is a tortoise-shell structure topping the testes, and it receives immature sperm from the testes and stores it several days. When ejaculatory occurs, sperm is forcefully expelled from the tail of the epidermis into the deferent duct. Sperm then travels through the deferent duct through the spermatic cord in the pelvic cavity, over the ureter to the prostate behind the bladder. Here, the vas deferens joins with the seminal vesicle to form the ejaculatory duct, which passes through the prostate and empties into the urethra. When ejaculatory occurs, rheumatic muscle movements propel the sperm forward. Hormonal regulation of male reproductive system. The male reproductive system is regulated by the production, stimulation, and feedback of specific hormones. Studies from rodent models suggest that gonadotropin hormones, both LH and FSH, support the processes of spermatogenesis by suppressing the promatonic signs and thus promoting spermatogenic cell survival. The Sertoli cells themselves mediate part of spermatogenesis through hormone production. They are capable of producing the hormones estradiol and inhibin. The Leydig cells are also capable of producing estradiol in addition to their main product, testosterone. Gonadotropin releasing hormone, GnRH, is mainly made in the perihepatic area of the hypothalamus before traveling to the pituitary gland. There it stimulates the synthesis and secretion of the gonadotropins, FSH, and luteinizing hormone, LH. Follicle-stimulating hormone, FSH, is released by the anterior pituitary gland. Its presence in males is necessary for the maturation of spermatozoa. Follicle-stimulating hormone stimulates both the production of androgen-binding protein by Sertoli cells and the formation of the blood-testis barrier. Increasing the levels of FSH increases the production of spermatozoa by preventing the apoptosis of type A spermatogonia. Luteinizing hormone, LH, is released by the anterior pituitary gland. In the testes, LH binds to receptors on Leydig cells, which stimulates the synthesis and secretion of testosterone. Testosterone is made in the testal cells of the testes. It stimulates the sex drive and is associated with aggression. Androgen-binding protein is essential to concentrate testosterone in levels high enough to initiate and maintain spermatogenesis, which can be 20-50 times higher than the concentration found in blood. The sequestering of testosterone in the testes is initiated by FSH, and only testosterone is required to maintain spermatogenesis. Inhibin is secreted by the Sertoli cells and acts to decrease the level of FSH. The hormone is released into the circulation when the sperm count is too high.
This is the female reproductive system. Its main organs are the anus, that works exactly the same way as it works with men. In here we can find the vagina, the cervix, and of course this little back here, that is the uterus. Here, up here, is the ovary, one of the two ovaries, and as well, one of the two fallopian tubes. This other back here, little back here, is the urinal bladder, and this small tube is the urethra. This thing that we can see in here would be the vagina itself as we know it. So, one of the questions is, where is an oocyte formed? An oocyte begins its formation in the ovary. So, when it is ready and mature enough, it starts to make its path through the fallopian tube and until it reaches the uterus. So, if it's not used, it's expelled through the vagina. This is what is known as menstruation. But in this case, it's going to be used. So, this takes a lot of steps. The main steps are fertilization. Where does this begin? It begins when the male introduces its sperms through the female's vagina, and the sperms try to make their path through the fallopian tube until they reach the oocyte. After that, implantation begins. When the oocyte is with the sperm, it starts to make its own path through the fallopian tube, and it sticks to the uterus walls. With this, menstruation stops, and a new human is going to be formed.
Birth control. We put the 6 most common that the people use to maintain this birth control. First of all is the abstinence. It's to not have vaginal intercourse with the partner, and it's 100% effective in preventing pregnancy. Then there is the implant, that is for women. It's a thin flexible plastic implant about the size of a cardboard matchstick and release a hormone, that is progestin, that helps to maintain the eggs in the ovaries, etc. This is a subdermal implant that is placed under my skin of arm, as you can see in the image. Then the vaginal ring, that is a small flexible ring that is for women, that is inserted into her vagina once a month to prevent pregnancy. It releases estrogen and progestin as well as the implant, and it's very effective in 90% of the cases. And the image you can see how is put this vaginal ring. Then for men there is the condom, that is worn to penis and are made of latex, are safe, effective and easy to get, are a great method of birth control because also prevent STDs, has the 90% of protection. Also exists the female condom, that is pouch that is used during intercourse to prevent pregnancy and reduces or prevents STDs, and it's covered inside of the vagina. The EUD is a tiny device that is inserted in the uterus to prevent pregnancy. Are divided into 2 types, copper EUDs and hormone EUDs. As you can see in the image, you see how to push this implement. Together maintains to keep the birth control and prevent pregnancy and STDs, that are the sexual transmission disease.